Osmosis. How are you doing today?
Good man, how are you?
Oh, it's been a rad one. Thank you for asking. So go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do.
My name is TONORMALAY. I live out in Australia, in the middle of nowhere. I do a lot of things. I just kind of do whatever my heart kind of tells me to do in the moment. You know, there might be videos one time, it might be something else, but I try to build this world that is going to grow year by year and get more and more exciting. Um, but yeah, music, video, painting. I can show you a drawing. You know, some artwork as well. Mix that in there. And that's me, man.
Yeah, your artwork is really sick. I'm actually a really big fan. And the stuff that I've seen on your IG, what kind of inspired this new kind of aesthetic, or like what kind of pushed this goal for what you're looking for?
As in the racing stuff.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan. Keep it authentic.
I see the NASCAR shit you got on too. I would say, I mean, I grew up with dirt bikes and stuff like that as a kid, and I don't know, I like the look of a lot of cars, but the I just put a new YouTube channel up called it's called the Racing Equippy. It's almost like I don't want to say the word collective, but it's just somewhere for me and my friends to put stuff up that um, isn't too locked down in any of the toner stuff. It can be whatever we want. We can do sketches if we want. So I was like, okay, what would be a good theme for that? A racing team would be unreal. So that's kind of what we did with that. Yeah. So it's just it'll stick around. It'll come back, the racing stuff, the theme of it. It'll bleed in with other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of
Um,
natural.
and how old are you, and how long have you been making music?
I'm 22 now. I've been making music. Man, it's been quite a while. It I would say I started around about oh what we're in 2024. Would have been maybe 2019. So for like was that 5 years? 4 years? Um I yeah, around about that time really. Yeah.
So what got you introduced to doing music?
I love things just in general. I love music, I love movies, but to a point that's pretty intoxicating. Like that's my drug, is I'll fucking listen to shit. I'll analyze the shit out of it. Same with movies, you know. And with music, it got to a point in my journey. I was like, okay, I love this stuff. Let me lock myself into figuring it out. So I bought Ableton Suite, like the 1 grand version. And I was like, oh, I better get my fucking money's worth now.
So,
So,
so right, like you've been working on some music, and you have like a project or an album coming out soon, or what are you working on?
so yeah, so as mentioned at the start, there's a lot of stuff I do, and it gets pretty overwhelming at times. I have a particular sound that I want to nail, and I haven't even found my voice yet. So I would say you'll see a lot of singles popping up every now and again. But I've got something, I don't want to say too much because I like surprises, but there'll be something more substantial that comes out after this era of stuff that I'm working on. There's some kind of storyline that accidentally came out of nowhere with all this shit that'll get followed up on a lot of the stuff, but it's still me. It's still, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but there'll be some stuff coming. Yeah.
So like what kind of music has like inspired you to like make music? What kind of music like were you first listening to that like interested you to started thinking like you could do this too?
Sure. like, I would say the shit that kind of unlocked my brain music-wise was when I first listened to JPEG Mafia's work. When I came across his shit, I was so fucking confused. I had to drive to, where was I driving to? I was driving to get some artwork framed, and I put it on. I was like, let me just go through this. The cover looks cool. I think it was Cornballs. I was like, the cover looks cool. I put it on, and I got scared a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the freeway, and then some shit happened, and I was so confused and scared. And then the shit just became addicting. There was just so many details and moments that just sparked my interest. I kept coming back to it, and that kind of let me. I think just that finding details and things I was confused by, like finding things I like and things that I was confused by, that changed my outlook on music completely. So now I go into listening to any kind of music and I find shit that I like. So I would say for my own sound, which is obviously always going to change, I would say things like bossa nova, spaghetti western movie soundtracks that are done by Spanish or Portuguese artists and composers. There's this one producer, what's his name? It's it's Ilayaraja, I think, from the 70s, and his stuff is just fucking magical. All the covers are so funny, like they're just really awkward looking photos, but the music is just magical. It just sounds like Mario Kart. Fucking, you know when you hit lap 3 on Mario Kart and the shit speeds up real quick? Sounds like that, but just like beautiful chords and amazing textures and tones as well. So I'd say that's the world my music brain most pulls from, but I'm inspired by a lot of fucking different things. So, you know, I want to try and sing like Prince someday. I'd love to do something like that, and then grab bits and pieces from that and turn it into my own. Like, I just want to try everything. I want to try and then, you know, grab the bits and pieces and make a good soup out of it, which will be my sound.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like, there's something about even for me, like making like a record and then changing it into like a 16-bit, so I can hear like how it's gonna sound like in a little bit different texture or way, and also like just trying different things, especially like with like working with like bass and guitar, finding out like what kind of effects or different stuff like fits for the vibe. But what kind of stuff do you like to use to record?
I'm trying to figure this shit out a bit more, but I got an Op 6. This is probably my favorite synth that I've got. This is the only synth I have. I had a Micro Freak, I think it was called, from Arturia, and that was okay. It wasn't my cup of tea, but as like I had an SP404 as well. I loved that thing, but I had to sell it because I needed to fucking pay for some bills. And
there's an SP808 out here in Seattle going on sale and offer up for $100 American. And like, it's crazy good deal. Like, I'm like, this guy doesn't understand what he's sitting on. Like, he's got gold and he's like, I just need money so bad and willing to sell like the best piece of equipment ever.
He could have gotten a bit. That's a bit silly. He could have gotten a bit for that.
Oh, that's still on sale. I don't think he's going to be selling it anytime soon. I think it might be sitting on the market. I mean, I'm considering buying it, but I'm like, I already work with like a DAW, and I already have like my own setup, and then just be transferring what I already do to the newer instrument that I haven't had in a while. I've worked with some SP303s and SP404s, and even like the Boss sampler, and I think like those effects and styles are really, really cool. I remember, like, I had this record player that had an Adolf Hitler thing on it, and I sampled an Adolf Hitler thing, and I was like, the first thing where I was like, I need to make a beat with this. Do you remember like what you first sampled?
Oh fuck. Yes. Wait. I think it was. Oh, I wish I had him still. There was some kind of tribal chant, but not that had a rhythm. It was all over the shop. It was like a. I think I grabbed the background ambience from it, and this was like the first time I used Ableton as well. It was the first time I was doing anything music-wise, and I sampled some kind of tribal chant, and the background ambience from that. That's such a shit fucking song. Oh, it's so bad.
Alright, so like, what kind of movies and like film directors are you a fan of? Do you have like any that you deeply recommend or that you grew up watching and can always love?
Yeah, for sure. I like the comedy and how shit the comedy is of all the scary movies. That I've had so many times with a specific friend that I'm not too close with anymore, but we would cry laughing watching them. But then obviously there's the names that everyone says, like you got Ari Aster, how he grabs your attention and holds on to it, like holds on to that fucking thing, and then just doesn't even, there's no big jump. It's just the perfect amount of tension. I fucking love. I really like the kind of horror that you see from like the Mandela catalog on YouTube, or I haven't watched it yet, but Skinamarink is apparently really good. That kind of shit where there's nothing, like there's no big jump. It's just it's making you scared from everything around it. So I would say Ari Aster spawned me into that world. Then you got Quentin, you got Wes. Fuck. I like a lot of one-off movies. Like there's so many instances where I love a movie for just that movie and nothing else from that director, but I can't think from off the top of my head.
I can name up like one for me. It's like a Danny Boyle, Transpotting, Mother Superior. I feel like this book, deeply Mother Superior. Just like, I'm ready to cook you up and share what you want. Yeah, Transpotting, the Mother Superior is the guy that hooks everybody up with their drugs.
Oh, yeah!
I don't want to wear a leather vest, and he's just like, that's all he wears. He's like, I'm cooking up everything. That guy, he's like the funniest, because like you would make Gregor's character.
Danny Boyle.
Yeah, Danny Boyle, exactly. Like, he done some really good movies ever since, but I mean, Transpotting is the one where you're like, oh my god, this is like your fucking movie of like tapping into like, what that life is like. And I don't know, I just like, think of like, you know, and like Mother Superior's thing is like, oh, you're ODing in my house, you have a dead baby in my house, I'm gonna just drop you off outside, and I'm gonna go back inside and cook more hair. I'm like, that's kind of speaking about music, like, the worst things that happen, and I'd be like, I'm gonna just go back inside and keep on playing music, like, oh, you just got murdered outside, I'm sorry, like, I guess it was to call the cops, but I had to go back inside and keep doing what I do. Like, yeah, like any TV shows where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe like how these people are. What kind of TV shows do you watch where you're like, oh my god.
Wait, what do you mean by you can't believe how these people are? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like with me, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'm a big fan, but you're like, I can't believe these people would still be friends and, like, working at the bar and, like, the shittiest people ever. You know what I mean? Like, they have, like, the best, craziest situation, but you're like, I'll still watch their show.
I wouldn't say it's like anything like that too specifically, but another version of what you said, that would be The Boys for me. The TV show The Boys. Fuck. that's like when that shit drops, when the next season drops, it's like an event. Like everyone I know, we drop our shit to watch that stuff. Just the shit they do in that
Boy,
show.
they gotta go on.
Huh?
The boys, they do got it going on.
Oh yeah, no, it's that's one of my favorite shows of all time. Fuck, I love that shit so much.
I'm really looking forward to the next season. And alright, so back to Osmosis question though. If you were stranded on an island, but you can only take one thing with you, what would you bring?
It would either be that sucks. That's such a shit question in a good way. Either something that has every song I've ever liked ever on it, or that's my heart answer. Like that's the one where if that actually happened and I need something, that would be the main thing. But a funny answer would be enough wood and enough supplies to make a catapult so I can shoot fucking coconuts at fish. That'd be fun.
So I guess we'll also switch one. You know, like what's one random fact about yourself? Like what's something that maybe somebody doesn't always know?
I truly live out in the middle of nowhere. I live so far away from everyone. All my friends are fucking ages away. And this is a truthful answer. All my friends are ages away. It's interesting. I come in like a big ball of fire when I meet people. But truthfully, like I'm trying to get out there as much as I can. So, you know, just the cliche, not everything is all it seems on the surface kind of stuff. That's all really. Nothing fun.
Consider a guilty pleasure.
You're gonna have to change the effect, man. I don't know what you just said.
Oh, okay. So what would you consider a guilty pleasure?
Hot sauce. And if I can find a good hot sauce, and I'll put that on literally anything. I love it.
I put it also.
What?
I put the air fryer. Happy birthday.
I still don't know what you said.
Okay, so if you could time travel.
Forwards or backwards? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Whoa. I would say backwards. I don't want to know what's coming. I would like to be surprised. I'd go backwards to certain times, either in the 70s or 80s in Europe. I just want to see what the music was like back then and certain cultures and stuff.
What's something that you fear and that you wish that people were less afraid of?
Running head first into a wall. Literally, I know so many people who are scared to death of either trying or failing to see that the cringeworthy moments are actually you growing, and that shit pisses me the fuck off. So I would say a fear of failure or judgment, like something like that. I think is huge, because everything else is subjective, right? I could say like, oh yeah, I want to skydive, but someone could actually be fearful of heights. So
Do you have like all-time favorite bands too?
Bands?
Definitely. Like I got a few. I shout out like the Strokes, Collective, and I'd probably have to say like Nirvana is a big one.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I wouldn't find myself listening to a lot of bands yet that I can name off the top of my head. I've seen a couple live that I've forgotten the names of that I really like. I love seeing the dynamics of each instrumentalist looking at each other, giving each other cues and things like that. But yeah, my answer to your question would I can't list any, which is interesting. I need to be more educated. I know that.
So we'll get into the early days, the childhood. So like name like an early childhood memory, even if it's like related to like the first time you got a guitar or went to a pawn shop or something.
I would say, okay, going back to the racing stuff. When I was a kid, before I stopped racing, I want to get back into it. There was this last jump on a racetrack. So you got the big ones, you got medium-sized ones, and then there's this little hump. There's nothing, just this little hump. And I crashed on that little hump. And then I had like 7 bikes run over me. And I remember the back wheel of one of them hitting my helmet. And I cracked the shits and I ran off. I was so pissed. I just yeah. That's probably my earliest childhood memory. I can't think of anything else.
So like, do you still have like a racing bike? I've also had like a little electric bike, a little gas 2cc and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
nothing crazy. I mean, I've had a 4-wheeler and that kind of stuff, but like nothing where I'm like, oh, that's a good racing bike or Honda or Yamaha.
I don't have anything anymore because when I was at my parents, we had a couple, but then I fell out of love for it for a while. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, so we sold them all. But I'll probably get one soon. I want to get like a custom sticker kit for one. I want to deck it out in some shit that just looks amazing.
From what I've heard, only from what I've heard, is that you can also get like this shitty stuff from Amazon, and you can buy like a gas electric kit, and you can transfer from electric to gas if you have the right kind of kit. And I'm like, if you can buy a shitty electric and then transfer it to gas, you might as well, and then just buy like a new kit that fits you. But at the same time, like, you gotta also like have something that you can navigate with, and that's like not gonna fuck up with all the time. Because I'm one of those drivers that will just push it fast and like see how fast it will go, and if it's gonna burn, it burns, and I'm with it. I'm with the burn.
I think, definitely. You gotta have a good one that you can do some. That'll last, and then you gotta have one that you can just when you have friends over, you can just fuck up. You gotta have some that you can you can go hard into like a pile of hay bales. So you can I used to have this neighbor, or used to be next to this neighbor, where there was a track that was almost like a figure 8, where it was a jump one way, but then it would lap over the other way too. So you'd go around, and if you're not careful, you'd fucking go into the center. It was like some of those Hot Wheels tracks that you'd get as a kid, where the cars purposely crash into each other.
They would
something like that.
They set you up.
That was so fun. We had like 4 little tiny pit bikes, and then or peewees, I think they're called. And then we had a quad bike and a couple of bigger bikes, and it was interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so what would be like your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to what?
Karaoke.
Karaoke. There's this one song, I don't know the name of it anymore. Hold on, let me have a look. I'm on my Apple Music. I'm trying to find the fuck. Charlie last. I got it. Yeah. Charlie last name Wilson by Charlie Wilson. I know that thing front to back. I love that song so much. I annoy people with it.
Well, I have to say that one's kind of like a little bit old school, but it has some class to it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. It's good. No, like, it's. I think it's the intro to the album. I can't remember, but it's so good. He's just talking about himself, and I love it. It's so good.
I would have to say, like, outside of like Marvin Gaye, I feel like whenever you crack out Marvin Gaye, people know what kind of vibe you're trying to set for the bar tonight. But you know, like I think like Bohemian Rhapsody came past that one out as a karaoke. I feel like people were like, oh shit, this was balls deep. It's all the way. So we'll get to another essential vibe osmosis question, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So like you remember like your first instrument, the first thing you bought?
First instrument I bought was probably that little Micro Freak synth. Because again, I haven't been doing music for a while, and it was just all out of my computer. So it was that little synth that I barely used. But I bought a friend's guitar off him. It's like a little student guitar, and he's like, give me your AirPod Pros and I'll give you, give me your AirPod Pros and something else. And then I can't remember what the fuck. Oh yeah, he gave me some cash in the guitar for the AirPod Pros. And I was like, I don't use these earphones. I got the wired ones. Sure. So I would say that, yeah.
Also, so like, to bring up like with recording and stuff, like, is there like a certain kind of process that you go through, like with something that you start with, like we'll start with first? Is it like a melody? Is it the beat or an idea? Do you go in with it with like stuff written?
Yeah, when I'm fucking around and just experimenting, it could be anything. It could literally be anything. Sometimes it's the drums. Sometimes I'll spend an hour on a hi-hat just to get a certain sound that I like, or a certain click. Like, yeah, spending ages on one sound is something that I love to do accidentally. But as time goes on, I have a lot of ideas for some music and specific sounds that I want. So as time goes in, it'll probably be a case of figuring out the trickiest part first. And for me, that might be the orchestral stuff, because I only have MIDI orchestral instruments. Getting a particular sound with that sounds realistic, sounds characterful, but also sounds expressive and not too stiff, like it's getting played on a keyboard. So I'd say I try to attack the bigger and the trickier sounds first, so I don't have to get overwhelmed later on.
Okay, so for the people that don't know you, I kind of forgot about this question. For people that don't know you, where are you from, and like, what kind of music do you make?
I think I said Australia. Yeah, I'm in Australia. I'm trying to get out of here as soon as I fucking can. It's beautiful as it is here. But yeah, the music I make is, again, I listen to a lot of different music, so it's whatever's just funneled through that. But yeah, that kind of sound I mentioned before, where it was like the bossa nova stuff, there's a bit of alternative in there too. I like the rhythms in a lot of hip hop music. So I don't know. I'm making it.
Wait, so you don't consider that you have like a genre yourself, or like a your own vibe? I guess we're down to 10.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a new sound.
Yeah, alright. So like and also like with defining like your own precedent sound, do you kind of like strive for a certain genre, or do you like to keep it like open, or have like a various mix of genres?
Open, yeah. Open as hell. Yeah, open as hell. I think the only time I'll do that, where I try and lock it in, is for a project. If it's an album, I want to keep it consistent to a degree. So I want it to be slightly accessible, as weird as some of the shit could be. So, you know, that's where I'll probably try and lock in a sound. But if I make, because I'm in a phase where I'm doing one-off songs, yeah, I'm trying to explore everything. Because if I explore everything, I'm going to learn shit that I wouldn't know. So, I don't know. What I'll say is that the music matches the work that I put out in all other mediums. So when I say that this is a world, like a proper world, it really is. This is the soundtrack to my brain. It's the soundtrack to how I think, my life, and all the other work. It's very exciting. But yeah, I don't know how to answer that question yet, but that's the best I can do.
I'd like to get into some fun vibe osmosis questions since we are in the mix of the vibe osmosis, it seems. What would you say like makes you like tick or like pissed off? Like what's like a tipping point?
I try to be as delusional as possible in like really sketchy situations. I find myself being too silly sometimes, but I can still be serious, of course. But I think the thing that pisses me off the most is when people aren't honest. I don't know. When people aren't honest, that's the shit that actually gets me angry. Like, because you see it on their face. You can see it. It's so easy. It's like, why aren't you being genuine with me? I don't like that. So when I'm having a conversation with someone and I feel that, I just want to slap them if they're not being genuine. Yeah.
I kind of feel that way for like even like doors to door sales people. It's like even when you're selling bullshit, and it's kind of funny whenever you have to like level to a certain person because you're selling bullshit, but you still want the money. It's like we both know what you're doing here is complete shit. So like, are you going to sell me good shit or is it going to be bad shit? Like that's like the kind of essential thing for an American culture, especially because like with food, I think it's like, do we have good food here, or you just sell me a $15 burger because it's in the city?
Exactly. Because I used to work in retail, and you got to have that mindset of, we're gonna sell this thing, and it felt wrong, man. There was so many times where I'd be like, look, this chair is a piece of shit. Like, I'd be way too honest sometimes, and I'd tell them, honestly, I don't give a fuck. Like, I would say, it would just be, yeah, look, we don't have what you need to get out. You got these. There'd be so many times where someone would come in for stuff, and I would give them a list of like 6 other stores to go to, like good stores.
I can agree. Whenever I was at Walgreens, I'd be like, the stuff that you're buying here is like heavily taxed and overpriced, and you can go across the street at a Kroger and get this for a much better deal. You might try to buy milk for, $8, and like, come on, whatever. I just be like, my mind is blown over your ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. I think that's the best customer service you can give.
So also with the music, has there ever been like a kind of like song where you feel like that was my best song, or like a song that should be in like every set list, or did you kind of still like have the approach of like finding new music for every like occasion?
I would say I haven't performed yet. I'm really excited for the moment. But I would say there's one song that I have that I'll try and put out as soon as I can. That the introduction for it, that's probably the biggest kind of it comes in it feels like a slap in the face, and there's a very nice couple of moments with claps, and I think that'll perform well, really good live. As strange as that song is, everything else I've made so far sounds like something that could be a soundtrack for something. There's no replayability.
I guess it cut off probably on my end because I have like a shitty city Wi-Fi right now. I didn't show out and get the good stuff yet because they have to come to your place and set it all up and all that. Hey, I go live on that.
Yeah.
It's crazy out here in Seattle for
Yeah,
Wi-Fi. Whenever I first got here, their guy was like, "Good luck with Wi-Fi."
Oh, what a that's fucked. Yeah. What an ass. He was doing the right thing. He's being honest.
He was like, no matter if you get T-Mobile, no matter if you get Xfinity, like, you're fucked, pal. Like, good luck with that shit. I was like, I got a hotspot on my phone. It should do well. It should hold me up. Okay,
Dude,
but, yeah.
The connection in here is dog shit.
It's like his dog shit, dude. Okay, like, I guess it's gotta be both ways. Like, wherever you're at, it's like, you gotta have, like, your fingers, like, hoping that that's some good stuff. I was like, all right, so, like, my favorite Bible Osmosis questions, though. What do you think about weed? Are you a sativa indica fan?
I don't smoke at all. I had one experience. I tried an edible with a friend, and I felt like I was gonna die. I curled up into a ball and just had the most negative thoughts on planet Earth, and I was like, I don't want to feel that again. And I feel it every now and again when I get secondhand smoke from people. Like the anxiety shit just goes through the roof, even if I haven't like actually smoked it. So, yeah, I don't smoke.
What do you think about like LSD, psychedelics? Are you a fan at all? Or have you ever done it?
Yeah, I've done it before. It was interesting. First time was scary, and then I did it a couple other times, and then one thing I've noticed is like I can see how people do psychedelics, and then that what they see on that trip becomes the only thing that they create from, if you get what I mean. And I got scared. I got scared of that, and I was like, I don't want to stuff up what I've got going on. As cool as it was, yeah, I was like, yeah, I just want to tiptoe around it and not scare myself too much.
All right, and before we go, I thank you for joining Five Osmosis. Who are some people that you'd like to shout out?
Wait, hold on. I got just 1 second. I've been working on a thank you message for some people. Where are we? Okay, so this list is long. I hope you don't mind.
Hey. All right, so what's some shout outs you have for the show?
Okay, so I've been planning this list for something else, but there's Committed. This man is such a genuine person. There's Corey, that's my brother, Plowman. Tony from New York. Amari, Oscar, Carter, Beyonce, Teeth, Christina, Charlie, Fee, McGee, Maddox, Lana, Brandy Bear, Pablo, Jasmine P, Daisy, Leah, Devin, Nyla, Devin, Carson, Belle, Taylor, Blue, especially, Lauren, Toby, Ellie, Active Presence. That man's music is amazing. You need to check it out. It's on Bandcamp. That stuff is fantastic.
I can't beat that.
Luca, Cobra, Yuda, Mango, Mizuki, or as you know her as Slash Girl, Shirley, Adam, and Cammy as well. Yeah, that whole list. These are the people that have been here for me from the very beginning, and I'm so grateful that they have been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So also, before we go though,
Mm-hmm.
I have some essential questions. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the last touches, the unwritten ones. All right. So, what inspires you to write a song?
Wordplay. I think that's probably the biggest one. Things that are witty. I like lines that make me giggle, but make me like the song that's happening even more. So it could be deep shit. It could be. It could just be straight. Nothing, you know. As long as it's fun, I think that's the main thing. I think, yeah, figuring out the wordplay of it all. That's what I love.
Also, do you remember like the first movie you ever went to go see? This is like one of my favorites.
Yes, that was the shit out of me. The original Mask. My parents took me to go see it. I got my popcorn. I got everything. I got in and I cried. I bawled my eyes out. And then we left 20 minutes into it. That was the first movie I remember seeing in the cinema.
Also, did you go for a desktop or did you go for like a laptop for your first computer?
First computer that I owned was a gaming PC. I played a fair amount of stuff, but even when I got the gaming PC, I kind of was off it a bit. But I started with that, and now I'm on a laptop.
Also, so like with gaming, do you have some favorite games? Like right now, I use Xbox 360. I'm crazy about the Fallout games and Grand Theft Auto you can't beat.
I Grand Theft Auto was so fun with. Never owned it, but I played it on friends consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
But the games that I most enjoyed, any of the racing games. There's a game that I grew up with called Crash Tag Team Racing. That was amazing.
I haven't played that one. What's that one?
Far out. That was such a good game. It's Crash Bandicoot, but it's like a Mario Kart ripoff. But it has like a battle mode, and some weird single player thing that you do, like a platforming thing to get to each race. I remember that. And then Doom, all the Doom games. Loved that shit.
Played those. I mean, I was big on Sonic games. I played Sonic Rider. Did you ever give those a go?
There was one Sonic game that was on the original Xbox that my dad and I used to play. You're on hoverboards or surfboards, and it's a race.
Yeah, Sonic Riders. That was
that's that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and I remember all the cutscenes were insanely cinematic for no reason, and the music was pretty cool too.
Yeah, the music, I guess, is what kept the riders on board. Yeah, and do you remember your first gaming?
Yeah.
Game? Were you a PlayStation or Gamecast person, or was it Xbox only?
Always Xbox, because my dad got the original Xbox, and that's what kind of introduced it to me all. And then I had a 360, then I had an Xbox One, and then I had a DS in between. I had a DS around the time before an Xbox 360, I think, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what I love about the DS is how you still add in your own little like me character and how that translated over to Wii. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got to say oh my goddamn character. And he's still legit.
Oh, I had the DS before that. I think was that the 3DS when that shit happened?
3DS is what updated it. Yes, yes,
early. Yeah. I had the one before that.
Yeah, that's part time.
What was that, sorry?
I was Game Boy to Game Boy Advance, and then the 3D, and I mean the DS, and then the 3DS. So I kind of rode out Game Boy until they were like, we can't do any more games or DVDs. You know, like I love the fact that they had, like, internet and like movies you could watch on, and I was like, this is the best game. Like fucking PSP. Like you got online, it's got Pokemon.
Yeah. What I have done though is emulators.
Yeah.
Open EMU, one of the best things on planet Earth. You can get so many different types of emulation on there. I think my favorite game, and I watched a documentary on it, was Wario Land 4. The sound design in that is some of the.
I agree. That's
my good lord.
Game. Yeah. You gotta
get to
guys.
save storage.
They're early artists.
To save storage, they would have like how do I say this? You know, chop and screwed music.
Yeah.
They would do that to some of the voice lines to have variation and also save storage. So it might be like a laugh, and they have like 10 variations of it where they pitch it down, stretch it out, have a different rhythm to it. And then they might use that one sound for when Wario gets hurt instead of when he laughs. It's so cool. So cool. Yeah.
Also, so like what area of Australia are you? Or have you always been in the same area?
Yeah, so I've grown up in Victoria, about an hour out from the city. And I've been here my whole life, and it's getting to a point where I'm ready to get out of here. I love exploring too, so I hope the next time there's an interview, I can say that I'm not here anymore.
So like with playing shows down in Australia, what's the music scene like?
I've actually, it's interesting you say that. I've only started going to shows a lot more recently. There's a lot of rock stuff that's out there. Like I see ads for a lot of different bands, and all these little gigs everywhere. It's crazy. It's there's venues tucked around in corners you wouldn't even believe, and so I'd say a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think I'd be able to answer that question a bit better as time goes on, because I'm not educated in my own country's culture. I have such a weird, skewed look on the world.
All right. So, like, would you say like playing shows out there is like open for anybody, or would you still say it's kind of like community based for community artists?
I would say it depends where you go. There's some places where I'm sure you could just walk in and do anything. It's not too dissimilar from America, if I'm being honest. Like, Australia likes to be a little mini copy of America sometimes in certain things. So, like, it's not too dissimilar.
Oh, well, I'd say like for the venue downstairs, El Corazon, like in a week or two, they're about to have bands from Japan that have been here for the first time doing their like North American tour, but they also play with American bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the genre,
if that's like, what you're saying,
you know?
Yeah. No, if that's what you were getting at, then 100%. There's bands coming from everywhere to play.
Yeah. And I think that's also something about music. It's able to translate no matter where you're at. Do you kind of have like an idea that like a certain like spectrum of the world is like more in tune to like kind of the music that you do. I've always felt this personally growing up in Ohio, like the people that listen to what I would do is somewhere else. Growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually a fair point. I would definitely say, and that's something I'm thinking about, is when I have songs to perform, is how is it going to translate to the ears around me? Because it's not stuff that at least everyone that I know is used to. Anytime I play anything for someone, they just get confused, or they sit on it for like 6 days before they tell me a part that they like or don't like, you know? So I don't know. I would say I don't think a particular country or a side of the world, but I would just say I would say more. I'd say my music is more gravitated towards the ears of people who like certain older characteristics from 50s, 60s, and 70s music. So as long as you have an ear for at least something, doesn't matter the genre, then there'll be something, I reckon, that people will like in my music.
Okay, so the last question of the night.
Well, it's night for you. It's lunchtime for me.
Yeah. So, what's your take on mushrooms? Are you a fan? Would you ever do mushies?
I have done it once, twice, and that was such a. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" That's funny. Yeah, I think they're good. I think you do it once or twice. It just helps you kind of. If you really don't know who you are and you sabotage yourself shitloads and all that kind of stuff, which I did, or you're extremely insecure, which I was, that kind of stuff, it opens a couple doors. It's up to you if you want to keep using it to open more doors, or if you want to, kind of go the hard way and So I think they're good.
I agree. So I have a best friend.
There are some people in the world that you look into their eyes, you look at how they see the world and how grumpy they are, and you're like, you need to have a crack at this. There's some shit built up inside that you need to break, and that's the only way it's gonna happen.
There's a Karen and Debbie on all of us. All right. So I have a best friend I play music with, and like he's going to be on my next album release. But whenever we were younger, we could take acid and like do it all the time and like have good times. But then there came to a point, where like we had this one really big trip, and he was like, that was the trip for me, Jeff, of like, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. And I'm like, how in the fuck are you not going to continue on doing these acid trips with me? Because it's been every weekend for, weeks, man. Like, it just takes this one time of us tripping balls together to he be like, this is it. And ever since, that was the last that was the last trip for him. And I'm like, I totally get that, because like whenever you look at like how he translated that into his music and stuff, he was like, that was all that I needed then, and like I didn't need to push any further because I already knew like if I did what
that's good.
So I was like, wow, that was a trip within itself to like teach you something. And I'm guessing whenever you look up stuff about like smoking, when they're like, if you trip so hard, people give up smoking. I'm like, I can kind of see that, because like if it's in your trip and that's in your mind, like it's set, and that's like, you're on your way.
So it happens for everyone at different times. Yeah.
Well, before we go though, I'm sorry, man, to cut you off. But before we go though, like, what's some of the music that you've been listening to today?
Today, that Vulture shit just came out today by Kanye. That was
I listened to some too.
That's a pretty good moment. Yeah, and then that Indian producer I want to know how to fucking how to name it, but I found a top 50 hits of some of his work, and I've been listening to that and just reigniting that flame with that analog sound. Oh,
Can't
so
beat
good.
that.
Hey,
No,
what was that? Sorry.
I say for some music that I've listened to lately, is the new Promised Land album or the new Promised Land album, and also like the track that came out on SoundCloud, Promised Land.
Did that just come out?
Yeah, it just came out today on SoundCloud. Another person I've been listening to is well, I guess shout out this band, Munica. They're based from Mexico. Also my friend's band, Puddle. He just put out a song that's like an acoustic track on Spotify.
Yeah.
And typically they're like always hardcore grunge, everybody plays, but this is like only acoustic. So I'm like, power to you finally putting something out that's like a little bit more pushed back than what you've done.
Yeah. Can you send me all of these? Can you send me links to all of these? I'd love to hear them.
I can send you. Yeah, I can send you some links. Yeah, I'm about to say. Do you want to shout out like your current project that you have coming out?
Yeah, definitely. I would say keep an eye out for. There's lots of stuff, but the main thing I would say to keep an eye out for is I got a little EP coming out that isn't of music, but rather my version of the musical sequences that you would see in an Alice in Wonderland movie, like the original cartoon, where there's the music and they're talking, and every now and again they're singing, but it's more the dialogue in between each other follows the rhythm of the backing music. Okay. That's the next thing I'll probably say to keep an eye out for. I'm very excited for that.
I'm a really big fan of the original, and the Johnny Depp version, I guess, holds up.
Yeah. Johnny Depp's amazing, so I'll watch anything he's in.
I think the latest Wonka movie, thumbs down, like just trash.
There's one thing I will say about it is I noticed a lot of actors from the TV show Horrible Histories that I used to watch as a kid. So I liked that. I liked the fact that I got to see those faces again.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's about it on that one. Well, thank you for joining Vibe Osmosis, man. I'll keep you updated on the episode and everything.
Yeah, and before you end the recording, I just want to say to everyone watching, this man is an absolute talent. He is very multifaceted in every meaning of the words. Please continue to support this guy. I love him.
I appreciate that.
There you go, you can hit that now.
Thank you.
I remember when we first met.